So about a year and a half ago, there was a big old cedar tree next to my office that they cut down for some reason. And I was able to swipe a bunch of really cool looking wood. And when I first worked with it, it was easy to turn. It was fairly green. And it makes your office, or I'm sorry, your office, your workspace smell incredible if you like the smell of cedar. It's been a while though, and this has dried out really well. And oh my gosh, this was the hardest thing to turn I have worked on yet. With the exception of that one I called the exploding bowl, this thing was just super hard. But anyway, I went through every tool I have. The best thing I had was a 12mm carbide tip, a cutting tip, that finally made its way through it. I took a number of measures on this one to stabilize it. It's 3 trunks in one if you look closely there, and I didn't want any chance of it coming apart. And it seemed super stable. Super glued the one end. Did this end. I was gonna get to the epoxy part before I hollowed it out, so I wasn't too worried about the instability, but I just wanted to be extra sure. To my surprise, when I posted that I was working on this project, it sold really quickly, so this one's no longer available, but thank you a million times over for the support I've gotten. This channel is doing great. We've been able to donate really close to $1,000 a month to Operation Underground Railroad, simply because of viewership. So when you watch my videos and you share them and subscribe, the way the YouTube algorithm works, the channel's rewarded, and so far it's been good enough that we've earned that much money per month. So all of it goes to Operation Underground Railroad, so thank you a million times over for sharing and helping us donate more and more money. So if you include the sale of the products that we're making, you know, we're getting close to a couple of $1,000 a month, which blows my mind. I'll never forget, I sold a live edge scrub oak bowl. It was like the first thing I dared put out there for 20 bucks, and I have no video of me making it. I just made it for the pure joy of it, and come a long ways. So appreciate your patience. You look back through the videos we made over the last year and a half, and obviously learned a few things since then. This thing's intoxicating. You buy a lathe, you're gonna need some therapy like I do. Now, you're gonna see something pretty rare for me. I was making this vase base, and I thought this is a pretty cool shape, but it kept chipping, and I wasn't in love with it. So I decided to get rid of it, and I simply could not. It was the hardest bit of wood I have ever worked on. Solid rock there, so you'll see me eventually grab my grinder and just pulverize it because I could not get through with my tools. And this is me sharpening these things, doing things I've done a million times, but yeah. I did use this hand grinder to hollow out the portions of the bowl that I wanted to display some twigs, some branches from some chokecherry wood I've been drying for the last year. This hand grinder attachment is fantastic. You can see it in the description of the video, but you can burn through some pretty good wood for a long time. I've tried out 3 or 4 different types of grinder attachments, and the one I see advertised all the time looks like a mini chainsaw wheel. That one's even better, however it goes dull in about 2 seconds, where this thing lasts a good long while, and it's relatively cheap, so I keep coming back to it. You have these sanding discs that you can buy just about anywhere, Home Depot or wherever, and it's almost as good as the cutting wheel. It's pretty powerful. You gotta be careful you bust through too much wood, but works like a charm. Okay, so my wood came apart here, and that was mainly because I had ground down to the part that was holding it together, which I saw coming and was fine. So Starbond, you can see a link in the description for a discount there. Their super glue is fantastic, works like a charm. Not only did I put this bowl back together with it, but all of these pieces of Chokecherry I stuck in there with it, and they have an accelerator that you squirt on there, and it sets up within 10 seconds, easy. It can be pretty hot and goes quickly. You'll see me leave the finger of my glove right there. You would think by now I would have figured out how to get bubbles out of resin, and I can get bubbles out of resin. What I cannot figure out is when I'm using twigs like this, why the bubbles come out. So in the end, you'll see that the resin itself is clear as glass, looks great. But right out of the stem of some of these twigs, you get these big old bubbles, and I can't tell if it's from the heat of the resin setting up or the pressure from the pressure pot squeezing air out. I'm not sure what's going on, but this time around it's certainly not moisture, because these were so dry you could snap it with your bare fingers. So I don't know. This is me going back to using the foam pad that comes with, you can buy like at Home Depot. It goes under flooring. It's just a really thin foam pad that's quite flexible. I'm putting it in a bigger vessel and packing sand around it so I can get rid of the voids around the wood. And admittedly, I did not take my time. Right here, you see my pressure pot and the lift-up freezer. So Total Boat is awesome. They have sponsored this channel, and the slowest resin they have for setting still gets fairly hot when it sets up. So my solution has been to turn the lift-up freezer on as low as it goes, a chest freezer, leave it open, and put my pressure pot in it. All right, guys, pardon the interruption. We have picked up an amazing sponsor called Skillshare. These guys are helping me raise a lot more money for Operation Underground Railroad than I would have before. So a quick plug for them. Skillshare is a huge online repository of classes and different training programs that help you develop your creative side. This can be anything from painting to woodworking to online content creation, for YouTubers. You've got videography, cinematography, whatever it is you're into. There are professionally done beginner level to professional level tutorials that'll help you learn just about anything it is you want to learn. Thomas Frank, he was talking about how your creative side is more or less like a muscle, and I totally agree with this. He was saying if you don't use it, you lose it. If you do use it and develop it, you can become far more efficient, far more creative, far more powerful in the medium you're exploring. The first 1,000 subscribers from my channel that click on the link in the description of the video will get a premier membership for free. That gives you some time to explore the website, take some of these tutorial classes, and figure out what value there is with Skillshare. So thank you again for your support for everything we're doing at this channel, especially for Operation Underground Railroad and all that they do. Let's get back to it. The whole idea with the freezer, of course, is to cool off the resin so that it doesn't hit that super high temperature when it finally sets. And it worked like a charm. I was really happy with that. So I just happened to have a chest freezer that I wasn't using. It's in my garage next to my shop, and we just hadn't quite gotten to using it yet. And so that was a happy accident. I know Total Boat's coming out with a really long setting, slow setting resin at some point. No one will commit to when that comes out, but I look forward to it so I don't have to jimmy rig as much. The only other option, of course, is to seal your wood beforehand. And quite honestly, I don't have a lot of time. And what I'm trying to figure out is how to do everything in one pour keep it simple, as few steps as possible, and I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to that. So I'll keep you posted as I go forward. This is the part where I just gave up. I could not get the bottom of this vase to smooth down. I tried every tool I've got and it just wasn't working. So there's something rock hard wood right there, and I just pulled out the grinder, said enough of that. It worked out fine, but I don't know. Some of this wood, the way it grows, sometimes the grain is incredibly hard. Now here's another thing I think happened. I put the resin in at a super high pressure, around 75 psi, which I hadn't done before, and it made the resin really hard. I didn't realize that was going to happen. When I've used resin and let it set at room temperature, it's soft. It's like butter, no problem. But I'll tell you what, I don't think I needed to go that high to get rid of the bubbles, and I paid the price. It was really, really hard to work with. You'll see me pull out this simple hollowing system, which saved my butt. I don't know if you've ever used these before, but the simple hollowing system, really what it does is it secures your carbide bits really strongly. So it mounts to the lathe. It's a mechanical arm, so you can put it wherever you want, essentially. But it's so dang stable, you can kind of force the issue as long as your project's secured really well on your lathe. So best money I've spent on my lathe. It's a great addition. They have an option for a laser guide, so you can tell how thin your bowl's getting. In this case, of course, I could see what I'm doing, but what I needed was the stability to get through this incredibly hard wood and resin. And boy, that really, really helped, because nothing else was working. And it wasn't a sharp tool problem, it just wasn't working. So simple hollowing system. There's a link in the description of the video where you can grab it on Amazon. Anything you do on Amazon, if you use any of my links, even if you go do your regular shopping, helps generate money for Operation Underground Railroad. And that goes for anything you see in my links, whether it's buying a t-shirt, going to Art for O.U.R, and buying other artists' products. You can see the percentage that's being donated for O.U.R. For me, it's always 100%. For others, it's less. They're trying to cover the costs of production and so on. So go buy something, or if you're an artist, go donate something. If you're an artist and you work in just about any medium, we'll take it. So as always, thank you so much for your support. We just cracked the 1 million view mark, which I never ever dreamed we'd beat. So thank you for the role you've played in that. Very ecstatic about where this channel is going and how things have been moving along. So thank you for your support. See you on the next project, and come visit us at Art for O.U.R, even if it's to buy some freeze-dried Skittles. We've got a little bit of everything over there.